Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? It is Mr. Sanders Twin, and we are back here on the couch. So, we are going to read My Family Divided, Chapter 9. So, we're skipping ahead a bit, but first, it's really cold. I'm going to get a sweatshirt and a cup of tea. And as soon as I do that, we are going to dive right into My Family Divided, Chapter 9. Chapter 9, Taken. A dark entryway was all there was to greet me. The house was as silent as an empty church. No noise from the television, no chattering in Spanish, no salsa blasting from the radio. I noticed the light on in the kitchen. I darted toward it, my heart pounding with each pace. "Mommy," I called out. "Poppy, are you here?" A plate of sliced plantains rested on the kitchen counter. A pot of uncooked rice was on the stove's back burner. The faucet, which Poppy had been trying to fix that week, leaked into the sink. Drip, drip, drip. On the table, that morning's newspaper lay next to a half-filled cup of coffee. Mommy's apron, which she always folded and put away after preparing a meal, was dangling from a chair back. I pivoted to the hall and dashed to my parents' room. Could they be sleeping? "Where is everyone?" I screamed at the top of my lungs. "Mommy, Poppy, I'm home." I pushed on their bedroom door. It was stuck. "Are you guys here?" I yelled, banging on the wood with my fists. "Open up." I wedged the toe of my new Adidas into the lower right corner of the door to force it open. Mommy's address book was open atop her nightstand. Poppy's reading glasses lay near the foot of their bed. With my entire body shaking, I rushed to the bathroom, then into my room, then back to the kitchen, and finally, with a prayer that they might be outdoors, into the backyard. Empty. Right then, the doorbell shrieked. The sound in the silent household sent a shock up my spine. I stopped. Could it be them? At the door, I stood on tiptoes to look into the peephole. There stood the neighbor who lived on the other side of our two-family house, a squat middle-aged woman who hadn't ever been very friendly to us. I furrowed my brow. "It's me, Diane," she said. "Unlock the door." This was unexpected. She'd never voluntarily come to talk to us. My hands quivered as I slid the chain left and unlatched it. With my face flushed and my stomach churning, I stepped into the vestibule. "Your parents have been taken," she said plainly, as if she was reporting the weather forecast. What?" I blustered. My head felt like it was about to fall off my shoulders, tumble to the ground, and burst open, right there in front of her. "What do you mean?" "I mean the immigration officers came here and arrested them," she shot back. "They're gone." I glared at her, suddenly dizzy. The foyer was spinning, faster and faster, like I was stuck in a washing machine. "No!" I wailed with my palms over my temples. I swayed forward, then back, and caught myself before falling onto the linoleum. "They're not gone," I squealed. The woman didn't blink. "Anyone you want me to call?" she asked, practically backing away from me. I was too distraught to answer. My moans turned to howls. "Well," she said, realizing I wasn't going to respond, "let me know if you need anything, okay?" I didn't answer. I staggered into the house and slammed the door. What am I going to do? My thoughts raced faster than my heartbeat. I need to call someone. I hurried to the living room and called my niece's mother, Gloria. Ring, ring, ring. She picked up. "Hello, Gloria," I whimpered. She paused. "What's wrong, Diane?" "My parents have been taken," I cried into the receiver. Hot tears splashed onto my t-shirt. "What are you talking about?" she asked. "The police came here and arrested them," I hollered back. We're going to go ahead and answer the first question, actually. That is, how would you describe the neighbor's tone as she communicates the news to Diane? Um, a particularly helpful paragraph might be this one right here. Your parents have been taken, she said plainly, as if she was reporting the weather forecast. You can use a sentence starter if you need it. I would describe the neighbor's tone as blank. All right, let's go ahead and continue. The police came here and arrested them, I hollered back. Dead silence. Even in my panic, I was already trying to find a way to fix things, to make sure I was safe. Can I stay with you? I asked between gasps. Maybe you could move in here. I can watch Erica for you. I'll go to school and get a job. Diane, that's not a good idea, Gloria said. She explained that her mother believed that further involvement with my family and me might somehow lead to Erica being deported to Colombia too. This caught me off guard. After all, Erica, like me, was born a citizen of the United States. She couldn't be deported. Seemed like Gloria had already made up her mind, though, so I didn't protest. Instead, I sniveled. So, what am I supposed to do? For now, she said, don't open your door for anyone. We don't really know what's happening yet. The police might return there. Stay out of sight until we can figure something out. I scurried back to the front door to double check that it was chained and bolted. I turned off every light, closed all the blinds, went into my room, and locked the door. Phone in hand, I got on the floor and scooted all the way under the bed. Our house had never felt so quiet or scary. I cried as softly as I could, my dad's words reverberating in my head. If anything ever happens to us, he'd often told me, you've got to be strong. Strong? I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. I felt weak, and here I was, alone and abandoned. I called another lifeline, Amelia, the mother of my friend Gabriella. Amelia, I whispered. She picked up on my distress. What's going on, sweetie? She asked. After I explained, she said, where are you? Under my bed. Stay where you are, she told me. Don't move. I'll be there as soon as I can. Minutes later, she was at the front door. I looked through the peephole to confirm it was her and not the police. After opening the door, I fell right into her arms. It's okay, Diane, she repeated as she stroked my hair. Everything's going to be fine now. The phone rang again. Copy. Hector? Amelia said, her voice firm. Yes, I'm here with Diane. I listened intently to Amelia's side of the conversation and pieced together how the day had unfolded. My parents had been taken separately. Mommy, who'd been making dinner, was arrested. My father pulled into the driveway to discover that the immigration officers had surrounded the house. They were waiting to put him in handcuffs. Poppy was driven to a facility for men, Mommy to one for women. My father was allowed to make one short call. This was it. All right, we're going to answer the next question. What exactly happened to Diane's parents? You'll find this information in this paragraph right here. Hector, Amelia said, her voice firm. Yes, I'm here with Diane. I listened intently to Amelia's side of the conversation and pieced together how the day had unfolded. My parents had been taken separately. Mommy, who'd been making dinner, was arrested in the late afternoon while Poppy was on his way from home from work. A sentence starter could be Diane's parents were blank. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Amelia, shaking her head in sorrow at what she'd heard, handed the phone to me. Your father wants to speak to you, she said. Poppy, my voice was scratchy from screaming earlier. Where are you? Listen to me, Diane, he said sternly. Don't be afraid. You're a smart girl. My eyes filled with a fresh round of tears. Don't cry, Diane. Do not cry. Now I need you to pay attention, he continued, because I don't have much longer on the phone. Go in your room and pack our suitcases, one for me and one for your mother. We'll need our things in Colombia. What? I shrieked. Mommy and Poppy had been in prison for less than 24 hours, yet my father was convinced they'd be deported. But can't we do something to stop this? There's nothing we can do, he said matter-of-factly. The only way he and Mommy might have a chance at staying, he explained, was if a top level attorney took their case, even with Poppy's lotto luck. He didn't have the money for a pricey lawyer. I've asked Amelia if you could stay with her, he told me. In the background of the phone, I could hear a guard ordering Poppy to finish his call. So you'll be with her, okay? I love you. I've got to go now. Click. I put down the phone. Packing my own parents' bags for their journey back to Colombia, was there a crueler punishment? Pull yourself together, Diane, I told myself, bracing for the task. All right, we're going to answer the third question, and that is, what does Diane's father ask her to do? Pay attention to these few sentences right here. Go in your room. Go in our room and pack our suitcases. One for me and one for your mother. We'll need our things in Colombia. A sentence starter could be Diane's father asks her to blank. All right, let's go ahead and finish up the chapter and answer the last question. I had no clue where to begin. What do you pack for the two people you love most in the world? For two people who may never return. I searched through their drawers and closet, pulling out random items. Shirts, pants, shoes, a couple of coats and sweaters. Was it enough? Nothing else would fit. So it'd have to be done. As I zipped the luggage, I heard noises. I peeked out the door and into the hall. The commotion was coming from the kitchen. I made my way there. When I reached the doorway, neighbors from our street peered at me. Word about my parents' capture had apparently spread. Amelia had let them in, thinking they'd come by to offer me their sympathies. That is not at all what they were there to do, though. One of the women was standing in front of our open fridge with a large plastic bag in her hands. She was packing up our fruits and vegetables. What are you doing? I asked. She looked up. Your parents won't need this food anymore, she snapped. We might as well take it. Excuse me, Amelia stepped in, suddenly realizing what was going on. Can you please put that back and leave? The lady glared at her and slammed the fridge closed without returning the food she'd taken. I was dumbfounded. I was already feeling so vulnerable, and the people my parents had called friends were stealing from our home. It was the ultimate insult. And ironically, it was in that moment, one with others surrounding me, that I felt most alone and uncared for. I marched from the kitchen and locked every door in the house. Now that I was moving in with Gabby, I needed to prepare a bag for myself. I packed school clothes, books, and a Norma Jean mini Cabbage Patch doll that Poppy had given me for Christmas. When I went into the bathroom to gather my toiletries, more tears flowed. All around me were signs of what my parents thought would be an ordinary evening. Mommy's rosary hanging on the towel rack. Poppy's cotton balls that he'd stuff into his ears before he showered. I opened the medicine cabinet, took out my toothbrush, and shut the glass again. There, in the mirror, I gazed at a face I didn't know, my own. It looked hollow and tired. Puppy eyes stared back at me. My numb lips were bitten and raw. Amelia tapped on the bathroom door. You all right, hon? She asked. I'll be out in a sec, I told her. Once we dragged the suitcases to her Camry, we did a final walkthrough of the house to secure it. In the living room, I looked to be sure I wasn't leaving behind anything private or urgent. I knew I wasn't coming back here. Amelia's home in Roslindale was only 10 minutes from us. She shared a small house with her son and two daughters. Gabriella was the youngest. When we pulled into the driveway, My best friend was waiting outside for me. I'm so glad you're here, she said, embracing me. Because I'd spent so much time at Gabriella's, it thankfully felt familiar, comfortable, safe. Amelia also did all she could to welcome me. Here you are, she said, giving me fresh linens and towels. Make yourself at home. Only hours had passed since my parents had been detained, yet I'd already resolved something in my heart. I would not leave Boston. I would not throw away the miracle I've been given to attend Boston Arts Academy. Getting into that school was the greatest thing that had happened to me, and I was not willing to give up by moving to my aunt and uncle's in New Jersey or to my parents' place in Columbia or anywhere that wasn't a bus or subway ride away from school. That evening in the dark, squeezing my Norma Jean doll, I stared up at the ceiling and thought of how the week had begun. Mommy's bizarre dream, Poppy's stroke of luck, and the joy on his face upon winning the money. I thought of the thousands of moments, large and small, that had led me to this house, this bed, this life. I tried not to cry because I didn't want to wake Gabriella, but I couldn't help it. She heard me sniffling and sat up. "You scared?" she asked, her voice kind. "Yes," I answered. "I know," she said. "What you're going through is scary." A wave of comfort washed over me. Finally, someone was validating what I was feeling. Being strong is necessary. It helps you move forward and keeps you brave. But honoring your true feelings is necessary too. And mine were sadness, fear, and loneliness. In this moment, my friend hadn't urged me to be strong. She hadn't told me that everything would be just fine. Rather, she'd given me permission, right before sleep, to be the frightened little girl that I was. All right, here's the last question. Why does Diane appreciate what Gabriella had said? You'll find what you're looking for in these few sentences. Finally, someone was validating what I was feeling, and she hadn't told me everything would be just fine. Rather, she'd given me permission right before sleep to be the frightened little girl that I was. If you need a sentence starter, it could be Diane appreciates what Gabriella had said because blank. All right, everybody, that is it for chapter 9. I hope you appreciated finally figuring out exactly what happened to Diane's parents. I know we were kind of on the edge waiting for that. So we finally figured it out. Not that it's great news, but I'm interested to see what happens next. And I hope you are too. So until next time, take care.